Hello, welcome back for your third day of health, which is super exciting. I already know. We are still talking about exercise, one of my absolute favorite topics. We're going to talk today about something called the FITT principle, and it's going to incorporate some of the things we talked about yesterday as far as the components of fitness go. So remember, there's 5 components of fitness. There's cardiovascular endurance. Okay, that's your heart and your lungs, trying to make those stronger. There's muscular endurance. That's the ability of your muscles to work for a prolonged period of time. There's muscular strength, which is how much force you can produce in one single best effort. So not a long time, one time. That's muscular strength. There's flexibility, which is your joints, being able to move all over the place. And then there's body composition. So what percentage of your body is lean muscle mass comparative to what part of your body is extra fat cells. So we're going to incorporate that as we talk about our FITT principle today. So here we go. Our warm-up says, to be fit, you should live the FITT rule. What do you think the FITT rule stands for? What does it mean? Okay, so it's obviously an acronym because you've got the F period, I period, T period, T period. So what do you think the letters stand for? And what do you think the FITT rule altogether, does it mean? So you know that we're talking about exercise, so you should be thinking along those lines. If you don't know, take your best guess. This is just kind of get your brain moving and to kind of start thinking about exercise again today. I'm about to show you what it stands for, so if you haven't already written it down, take a minute, pause the video, and go ahead and write that down in your notebook. And then flip over to the second page where your notes are going to be, and we're going to get started talking about our notes. Okay, so when you're planning a fitness routine, you should use the FITT principle or rule. The F stands for frequency, and yes, we are writing this down. The I stands for intensity. T stands for time, and the last T stands for type. So this is the framework that you're going to use for setting up your own fitness routine or planning your own fitness routine. And we're not going to talk about that today necessarily, but we will talk about that tomorrow and how that applies to us and what we should do to set up our own fitness routines. Today we're going to break down the letters and what they mean and what their definitions are. So frequency refers to how often you exercise or the number of times that you are active per week. Okay, so there is guidelines out there, and I'm going to show you those on this computer over here in just a second. But when you think of frequency, it's talking about how often you exercise. So out of 7 days, how many days did you exercise? Okay, did you exercise 2 days, 1 day, 5 days, 7 days? What was the number? That's the frequency of exercise. That's what frequency stands for. So I pulled it up on here. So this is physical activity guidelines for school-aged children, and I want you guys to pay attention. So the CDC.gov, this stands for Centers for Disease Control, and any website that is titled .gov is going to be a credible source that you can rely on to give you accurate information. Okay, so the CDC.gov is a really good one. I pulled up another one on here, which is health.gov. So if you go to health.gov, they give you a lot of good information. If you're just searching websites, so WebMD is a really good one, but you know if it's really good because it'll tell you that it's accredited, right? It's a health accredited website. It's giving you accurate information. Okay, and if the website, you can always scroll to the bottom and see if it's copyrighted. If it is copyrighted, so that little C in the circle down there, this is copyrighted 2005 to 2020, it guarantees that you're getting accurate information. Okay, there is so much inaccurate information on the web, and a lot of it isn't monitored by anyone or looked at by anyone. So it's super important you're going to good websites. So anything.gov, health.gov, cdc.gov, those are great places to start. WebMD is another really good one. There's something called Kids Health out there that's a really good one. But you just want to make sure that the website is certified or accredited, and you want to make sure that if it's copyrighted, if something is copyrighted, that means that it is checked for factual information. So don't just go to some random person's blog page page and try to look for information, you're not going to find good information there. Okay? All right, so back to our recommendations. So let's read through this really quickly. Oops, you don't want to see me, you want to see this. All right, so this physical activity guide for Americans was issued by the United States Department of Health and Human Services. It recommends that children and adolescents ages 6 through 17 years do 60 minutes or 1 hour or more of moderate to vigorous physical activity daily. Daily, okay? So if you want to read through the rest of this, you can. I'm not going to read it to you. So frequency of your exercise, right? That's what we're talking about. Frequency should be daily. Every single day, you should do some type of exercise or lifestyle activity. Every day. It doesn't always have to be vigorous. It talks about moderate to vigorous, and we're going to talk about that more tomorrow, about being able to determine the difference between moderate and vigorous activity. But every day, 60 minutes, 1 hour, and it doesn't have to be all together. It can be 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes at night, 30 minutes throughout your school day if you have PE, which we will. We'll start moving here during the day. So it can be, in different chunks, but 60 minutes every day of some kind of activity or exercise, moderate to vigorous, okay? So that's your frequency. Your next definition on here is, and that's the website in case you wanted to go back to it. All right, intensity. It refers to how hard or strenuously you exercise. This is determined by how fast your heart beats and how much weight you lift. As your fitness level improves, you will be able to do more intense activities. Okay, and again, we're going to really break this down and get into this tomorrow. But if your heart is not beating, like if you don't feel out of breath and your heart isn't pounding in your chest, that is not vigorous activity. Okay, so that's the intensity. Intensity refers to how hard your heart is beating, how much you're pushing yourself, how out of breath you feel. All right, the more out of breath you feel, the more intense the exercise was. The heavier the weight is, if your arms are like shaking as you're trying to lift, that is intense weightlifting, okay? If it's super easy and you can do 100 reps without even breaking a sweat, that is super not intense exercise, okay? All right, time refers to how long you spend being active or the number of minutes that you exercise. So this recommended 60 minutes, right? 60 minutes of exercise, okay? And then the type refers to the type of exercise or the kind of exercise that you choose to complete. So this goes back to our components of fitness that we talked about yesterday. So there's aerobic exercise, which is cardiovascular, okay? It's extended, it's nonstop, repetitive activity, distance running, swimming, biking, hiking, rollerblading, playing sports like basketball or soccer, right? Continuous, nonstop, repetitive activity where your heart is beating hard. That's cardiovascular. Oh, sorry, you can't see that, can you? Exercise. Okay. Muscular strength. Those are short bursts of high intensity activities, sprinting, jumping, heavy weightlifting. Okay, those are going to improve muscular strength. This is all different types of exercise, so just a couple more to go through, and then notes are done for today. Your muscular endurance, which is weightlifting, like a circuit where you are going from station to station. You're doing biceps, then triceps, then legs, and push-ups. So different, like a whole circuit of exercises. All body weight exercises, lunges, sit-ups, those are all muscular endurance activities, as well as cardiovascular endurance activities. They can also be considered muscular endurance, like running and swimming, because your muscles have to be able to work as well as your heart and your lungs, okay? Flexibility, moving your joints through full range of motion. So we talked about these yesterday a little bit: Pilates, yoga, static stretching, dynamic stretching. Okay, the ones we didn't talk about were skill-related exercise. So this, make sure we get this in our notes. Skill-related exercise are those aspects of fitness which form the basis for successful sport participation. It's often incorporated into sport practices. So these are the things that help make you a better athlete. Speed, being able to move quickly from one point to another. Agility, the ability to change directions quickly. Balance, the ability to maintain an upright posture while standing still. Coordination, integration of hand or foot movements with the input of your senses. So hand-eye coordination, foot-eye coordination. When you hear something, you're able to start, like in track, you hear the gun and your body starts to move. So that's all coordination. Reaction time is the amount of time it takes to get moving or react to something coming your way. You know, that heads up, hey, think fast. Someone throws something at you and like, hey, think fast. You have to turn and catch it. Or if you're watching a baseball game and someone yells heads up, can you turn and find the ball before it hits you, right? That's reaction time. And power, the ability to do strength work at an explosive pace, okay? So these are skills, these skill-related exercises. They're still important, even if you're not going to do athletics, especially things like balance and coordination. You need those as you get older, right? You need to be able to balance. You need to be able to coordinate your body. Reaction time is always important, whether you're doing athletics or not. So you still want to incorporate these skill-related exercises into an exercise routine. And we'll talk more about these tomorrow as we talk about building an exercise program for ourselves, and as we kind of get into intensity and target heart rate and figure out which exercises are going to most benefit us and our bodies. Okay? All right, guys. And as a little treat, because I know the last couple days have been a lot, right? Tons of notes, really long videos. So I'm skipping the wrap-up questions today. You can thank me on your way out because that was really nice. I know. And then after you are done with this, you have an activity from yesterday that we didn't get to, so we'll get to that. And it's a partner activity, so it should be fun. And we get to go into the gym to experiment with some exercises tomorrow, so that'll be super cool as well. Okay. If you have questions, you can type them out or email them to me, or you can always ask. I love to answer your questions about exercise because I absolutely love exercise. It's important and it's fun. And I hope you guys have a great day today. Bye.